Black Falcon, Captain America, and it's Abominable week 2. Are we surprised that it's bad? Okay.
No.
I predicted last week it would be a 70 to 75% drop. That was my prediction. I was a little off. Just a
yes,
smidge.
you were, sir.
Just
yes,
a smidge.
You were.
Just a smidge. Not too far off, but it's still abysmal. Okay? It's still bad. So here we are, week 2, gross. 289 worldwide.
It didn't even get 100 million its second week.
Its second week with a 68% drop. I was close.
So
a little off. Could have hit 70. It only made $28 million domestically.
That's crazy.
In its second week. And look at here's the week. This is pathetic. This is sad. And I did the math. So right now, let's go back up here. It's total international. I had to do it again because I forgot the number because I'm not smart that way. 148 international total, and that's all major markets. All major markets.
Yeah.
And last week it was 92. It made only $56 million internationally.
That's oh boy.
It's officially a flop.
It's not debatable.
Official.
I was a little bit more hesitant to throw out numbers like you were last week, Adam. Like it barely, like not making 400. I think was your main one.
300 to 400. I said it. I said between 300 and 400, and I was thinking it might not even hit 300 now.
I thought it was going to go about the 450 range, maybe 400, kind of like Ant-Man Quantumania under it. I was very wrong. See, we can say that when we're wrong.
Yeah.
People out there.
Just like we couldn't do math last week. We were all retarded.
Yeah.
But no, I was very wrong. I would be shocked now if it hits 350 because it hasn't even crossed 2 in its second week. 350 is going to be a hard milestone for it. And the great thing about that, even with the fake ass budget that they put out, the $180 million, they announced the break even point. A lot of people were talking. It's nowhere near going to get close to that. So it doesn't matter what the real budget was. It'll be very public that it was a flop. We don't need to say, hey, that budget is clearly a lie. We can use their fake numbers and get the same result, just with different amounts of loss.
But I mean,
ain't that wild? That's the part that's wild. They throw out these fake numbers that no one or their grandmama would ever believe under any circumstance with a film that's been shot 3 different times. That numbers that you would never even imagine. Even by those numbers, this is still a colossal flop. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, so Dre, I ask you this then. How did they possibly think it was going to be a win to push the narrative of 180 to 425 for budget and break even? Did they not realize that nobody was going to show up to this? Did we know their internals had this movie looking bad? So why even push that narrative? Why not just let us keep putting out our numbers, which we can never confirm, we can only estimate from? Why even do that?
Because I think they knew the handwriting on the wall and they just wanted to make it look not as bad. That's the only thing I can assume, because there's no other logistical reason to lie about the budget that everybody knows is not true. There's no reason to lie about it except to gaslight yourself, I guess, to make your shareholders that may not be paying attention feel not as bad that they lost millions. I don't know. Like, logistically speaking, I'd rather just had the full numbers on display, go ahead and take this whipping because that's what's going to happen, and move on. But the fact that you lied about it for some bizarre reason makes it worse. What's that expression? The cover up is worse than the crime.
Yeah,
I think that's the expression.
Yeah,
and that's what this is. Everybody knew that this film was going to bomb harder than Hiroshima. Everybody knew that already. Not even close, not hyperbole. Everyone. That joint was tracking lower than Quantumania.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. It was even under that. Even before the numbers changed. It was trending lower than that. So they already knew that the whooping was coming. The only thing I can say is that they were praying that the shareholders weren't paying attention. I guess.
Well, at least Japan wins with this bomb drop because they were portrayed as the villains in this film. So people who make fun of them lost this time.
Uncooperative, I think I would say. They were uncooperative.
They were a little villainous from the way it was described.
But we look at this here. So we saw this. We saw the writing on the wall. As Jay said, this whooping was going to happen no matter what. We told the truth. Yet this week, the shills over and over again, we're still carrying the water. Oh, here's our manufactured thing comparing to things in the past. We're not going to even regard adjusting for inflation. We're going to give scores on Rotten Tomatoes, this and that. They tried desperately to craft a narrative where it got that $100 million first weekend, guys. Oh, it crossed a $200 million milestone. Yay! This is terrible. A 68% week-to-week drop. An anemic international, only $148 million, where on usual, you need the international to be double what your domestic is to be on the road to profit. Because remember, in America, there's only about 350 million of us in America. There's another 7.5 billion people around the world. Maybe even 8 billion right now. I don't keep track anymore. And I know not everybody's going to the theater, but I'm just giving you the size of the population of the planet right now. The rest of the world, all those billions of people didn't go see this movie.
That's correct.
And that is way more people you needed to carry the gross before you have a chance to get near profit. This is complete and total failure. But it gets worse with the story surrounding this. Now after this week, I'm getting ready for the ist and the phobe stuff. I think the racism comments are going to happen this week. If they happen, they're going to happen this week because the water carrying is done. Now it has to be, why didn't you all like black? Well, I showed you this one. Actually, no, hang on.
It's the only thing that they have left. But right before you click off, I just want to point out that Thursday they made $781 per theater already. Their second Thursday is that low per theater. It's a disaster. They can't explain this away with anything besides the racism, is phobe, and whatnot excuses. That's all they have left. And so I hope this really makes people look at Marvel differently. And we don't even have to call it woke. That's the brilliant thing about why I like this movie in the discussion. We don't have to go to the political territory. We're just, hey, it was written like garbage and it's failing because it is garbage. Yes. So they can't claim that we just hate it because of political reasons.
But that's their next step. And this is the beginning.
Well, I mean, normal people.
Well, yeah, you're right. But you're going around the right track because now it starts. And I commented on one this week, and I found my comment to be pretty poignant when one guy says this: Sam Wilson is Captain America. For those who don't like it, tough shit. # Captain America. And to which I reply, and this goes to all the things, whether it's Disney stands trying to constantly tell us that Disney Star Wars is canon, or that Ncuti Gatwa and Jodie Whittaker are Doctor Who. If you have to keep telling the world something is, then it probably isn't. The more you work to try and convince us something is the way you want it to be, you're the one working overtime because nobody believes it. And that's tied into the thing right now of any moment now, their next step is to call us racist if we didn't like it because Sam Wilson's black. Now, Jed, we just watched Winter Soldier for this.
We did.
Sam Wilson as Falcon. Fantastic in that movie.
Absolutely.
It's great.
And it makes sense as inclusion. We didn't talk about it last night, but I love how he was the choice for Steve and Natasha to go hide with because there was no public connection between them. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, this is a friend that we trust more. Like S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra would expect them to go to someone like Iron Man, so they'd be, staking out Iron Man. It was a brilliant way to introduce him into the story that made sense. And yeah, he kicked a lot of ass. He was fantastic in that film.
Yeah, and we liked him in that. We liked him in Civil War. We liked him in Infinity War. We had no problems until you tried to carry, as Drew put it, the dog water of all new, all different Marvel, where they foisted him upon us as the new Captain America, praised by Barack Obama at that time. That's when we have a problem. when you try to serve us a shit sandwich and tell us it's filet mignon.
Exactly.
But it isn't. It's rejected. But these people want to believe it so badly that they warp their brain to our previous discussion. They need it to be that. Otherwise, they have no meaning. So this is the beginning of it, and I think this week it starts. But there is other weird shit around this. The very strange stinger at the end of the movie, which we postulated about last week when we talked about it in reviews and streams, what it meant. Jed, did you have any freaking clue that, it's about the Illuminati?
No, there's no way any person could make that reasonable assumption. Dre, for context, it's that end credit scene we talked about where Falcon goes to visit the leader in the raft, and the leader's like, "I'm so good with predictions. I'm so smart with probabilities, and you might have beaten me, but there are others coming that you won't be able to stop." And that's it. It just says others are coming, and somehow that's meant to imply that it was the Illuminati.
That's not how that works. That would be the Cabal.
No, and he mentions that it's a multiversal threat, like there are other universes and others are coming. Why would you assume that's the Illuminati? Yeah. Others are coming from other universes.
First of all that is garbage anyway. But whoever's making the connection for it to be the Illuminati is retarded. The Illuminati
it's the director of the movie.
The director
he meant it to imply that. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, make it stop.
He intentionally made it that way.
Make it stop.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, but if you go to Mars with Elon, he's going to put a Neuralink in your head. You don't want to do that.
Oof, yeah, that's the one drawback. But yeah, are you saying you don't like what Marvel has done with the Illuminati so far in the MCU? You saying you don't like that?
Well, the one time it was featured in Mom, they were a joke, a bad joke. They are the collection of the greatest minds in the MCU. Well, excuse me, in the comics, the Marvel comics. It was the greatest minds in Marvel comics, and the most powerful people intellectually and influentially. That is what makes them so great.
And not multiversal. Not multiversal. They were
not multiversal.
Not multiversal.
Even if you want to play the multiverse, each multiverse has their own Illuminati.
Yeah.
They have their own. And so everything that they're doing is stupid. And the fact that the writer thought that this was a reference to the Illuminati just shows how much these people don't know, don't care, or just retarded. If the leader is saying things, that would be his group, which would be the Cabal. These people are retarded. I'm done with all of them. If you're not going to even pretend you know about the source material, shut your whore mouths. That's all. Say nothing. It's easier to say nothing than to be loud and wrong. What is happening here?
Well,
can they just stop making Marvel movies, please? Can they just stop, please?
No, because they need to squeeze the lemon dry.
The lemon ain't even the tree is dead. Screw the lemon. The tree
not even the
is
tree.
Dead.
Look at Illuminati as we would know it. Let's keep it based on what they have. They've butchered every single one of these characters.
100%.
That is presented. They made a joke out of bringing Patrick Stewart back for Professor Xavier. Made a joke out of him. There is no Iron Man anymore. Tony's gone. They haven't replaced him with anything. Black Bolt blew his own head off. The Reed Richards we have is Pedro Internet Daddy Pascal. And Namor? Let's talk what they did to Namor. And Doctor Strange isn't even in charge of his own shit anymore. There's a rumor, there's a show going to the School of Strange where it's going to be Wong teaching students about being wizards. How can you call it the School of Strange when the title character isn't even involved? There is no Illuminati.
This needs to stop, man. Just turn the machine off. The AI that's writing this stuff is tired. Yo, turn off the machine. These films are this Captain Black Falcon is an entire film based on a Hulk movie that no one ever references anymore.
No.
This is an AI written film. Red Hulk leader featuring Captain America, black man. What are we? This is an AI creation.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's no explanation. This is supposed to be a Hulk movie, bare
Yeah.
minimum, a Hulk movie. In the fact that he's an inconsequential character in his title film, AI robot that is writing this, I'm begging you, turn yourself off. I'm a desperate man. Shut yourself off. I am telling you, this is AI written hot urine. This is a disaster. The fact that somebody, oh, this represents the Illuminati. Oh dang, I almost said the N-word. Like, bro, this you didn't write this. You did not write this, sir. Good grief.
Yeah.
Turn off the machine. Let's do something else. Let's just go back to Stargate or something. Let's do anything. Anything. Just stop all the Marvel productions. The mess is embarrassing. Call Johnny Cop.
Well, here's the point though. To the director who says, like, oh, it's supposed to be Illuminati. He wanted it to be intentionally unexciting.
That's what he said. Oh god.
Yeah.
This is the same moron who said there were never any reshoots.
Oh, there was. We did the normal amount of reshoots, not all the. I mean, it's terrible. I'm not in the mood.
Esposito wasn't even in the first cut.
Yeah, no, not. Yeah. After numerous reshoots and rumored budget upwards of $400 million, which is the truth, Marvel's latest closes out by hinting the upcoming children of the concept of multiverse, but it was the Illuminati. And then he goes on to say, and while many fans may be quick to chalk the disappointing teaser up to the film's numerous rewrites or Marvel's lack of creative direction, the aforementioned Ona, the director, told Collider, who carried a lot of water this week, that the scene's uneventful nature was actually 100% intentional, as he wanted to avoid drawing any attention away from the gravity of Sam's new promotion as recreating the Avengers. He says, it was always the case that what felt organic for this movie, there's nothing organic left in this movie. Go ahead.
I just want to say, if you don't want to take away from him forming the Avengers, make that the post-credit scene. Have him show up to, I don't know who's left in the MCU who's relevant anymore.
Young Avengers. The Young Avengers.
Captain Marvel's the only person I could think of right now. Have him go to Captain Marvel and say, we're putting the team back together. If you don't want to distract from that, make it that instead of, others are coming.
Yeah.
There are ways to do intentionally uneventful end credit scenes. I always point to the end credit scene of Spider-Man Homecoming. That is a brilliant end credit scene. I love it. It kind of plays on the meta of expecting an end credit scene to actually say something, and then it's just Steve Rogers teaching you about patience. That's a brilliant, uneventful, and intentionally so end credit scene that's handled very, very well. This is just nothing. That actually was a joke. This is just nothing.
Yep.
Why would you intentionally make something that's not exciting? That's leading.
Well, he's going to tell us. He's going to tell us. It was always the case that what felt organic for this movie was just leaning into a post-credit sequence that could tease what's coming next. We wanted to tease it in a way that didn't become too explicit. This is about introducing Sam as our new Captain America, which you took a show and a movie to tell us twice, and still nobody bought it. That was the overarching focus of the movie. So to start throwing in too many post-credit sequences just felt like it was going to stray away from that. Even the tease we have is still very Sam-centric. Jed, when you add in, as I just said, this movie plus the TV show, they have spent upwards of how many episodes was Falcon Winter Soldier? 6 episodes? 7 episodes?
I think 8, but yeah, somewhere in that range.
All right, so let's say somewhere between 7 and 9 hours. They have now tried to tell us that Sam Wilson ad nauseum is Captain America, and the world still doesn't believe it. And you say you didn't want to take focus away from that. That was the point of your movie, telling us he's Captain America, but you didn't actually do it in the movie. You told us a movie that wasn't about him. It was about everybody else. And yet you don't want to take away from him in the post-credit scene? Why don't you actually make it about him? Like you just said.
It'd be too easy to do something logical. But when I saw the end credit scene, my immediate assumption was they don't want to get locked into future movies anymore. Setting up something and then they're locked in. They can't change their mind. They're like, oh, we don't actually want to do Infinity Saga anymore, so don't have Thanos grab the gauntlet or something like that. They don't want to be tied down to a cohesive story anymore, connective tissue. So they do something incredibly vague, and then 3 movies from now when they're like, all right, let's pretend this is still a cinematic universe. Oh yeah, there was that super vague one. We'll say that the others were actually the mutants the whole time. That's what we intended the whole time, or something like that. Like just making it so vague that they can.
It's a safe retcon, is what it is.
It's a safe retcon, absolutely. It's a pre-made retcon.
And you bring that up now, so here we are, as we have talked about repeatedly, the rest of the year with the MCU schedule. TV shows, we know you've got Ironheart, which is just going to be a joy to watch burn. That's going to be bad. And then in a couple of months, we've got the Thunderbolts without Thunderbolt Ross. I posed this to you when we were going through the movies for the year, and I'm going to pose it again. And I want you to, now that we've had this failure of this movie, we literally have it failing before us. We said this before, it was likely to fail, but now that it has failed, do you think anybody, and I've heard some people say that they are intrigued by the Thunderbolts, but that's us, the YouTube talking heads. I'm talking about the regular normies who have either seen this and been disappointed or have heard bad word of mouth. I see there is very little chance for the Thunderbolts to be a success because this movie has now, it's tainted the water supply. Nobody wants to drink that water. They're not lining up the water fountain for this. They aren't. No matter how thirsty they are. Nobody cares. The Thunderbolts will now suffer because of this bad movie. And then because you'll have Thunderbolts be bad, people are going to be going Williams, whatever. And I think there's another television show in there somewhere. But then you've got Fantastic Four Baby Steps. There is no way there is momentum to make any of these successful. Am I wrong? Now that we have this hard evidence of how bad this movie is done, there's no momentum to make this work for the rest of the year, is there?
No, I think the momentum is so bad that even Doomsday and Secret Wars will struggle. That's what the momentum of this movie and the others of the phases 4 or 5 are showing, that not even an Avengers movie will be able to do something extraordinary. I do think the Avengers movies will do better than these standalones, but of what they need to do with their budgets, I assume Doomsday is going to be at least a $400 million budget as well, if not higher. It's a $1 billion movie to break even.
And we will know because they're shooting it in London. They're shooting it in the UK. They will not be able to hide the budget of Doomsday. I don't know about Secret Wars, but Doomsday, we know they will not be able to budget. But that's the point, and I'm bringing this up. You say an Avengers movie will do well. Who are the Avengers?
No, I didn't say it would do well. I said it would do better than this.
Better. Okay, better.
Yeah. It still lose godless money.
I misspoke. Sorry. I misspoke. I got caught up in my own rhetoric. But my point is, though, it will do better, but who are the Avengers? This movie confirmed a question that people have been actually asking for years. Who are the Avengers right now?
They confirmed that nobody is.
That's
what they confirmed. I mean, what's the only character that people almost care about that's left?
Spider-Man.
I'd say Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the only one, and he doesn't make sense in a consistent team format. Just kind of occasionally joining up.
Spider-Man is a loner. He's a street. The world of Spider-Man is New York City. He doesn't go, he rarely goes outside New York City because there's so much for him to fight there with his Rose Gallery. His Rose Gallery they're usually not world dominating. They just want to control New York. They want to do damage. They want to be criminals, or at best, you're Kingpin or you're Norman Osborn, and you want to centralize power there. It's not about conquering the world. That's why Spider-Man works. And the Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 4, it's got a release date, I believe, a week after after the Odyssey. It's releasing a week after the Odyssey.
So next year.
Yeah. So
but all the other people that are still left, though, that might have some interest. I mean, Ant-Man's, no one gives a shit about Ant-Man. As much as I like the first Ant-Man movie, that was the only good Ant-Man movie, well, Civil War. But, and then Doctor Strange, some people kind of care about him. Mom kind of says a little bit differently. But he's also kind of a loner character. He shouldn't be a team member in most instances. He's dealing with his own types of threats.
And Doctor Strange has his own team, the Defenders. Right, Dre?
That's correct. But Defender Strange is not going to be featured in this under any circumstance. Technically, he was seen in Mom in the beginning of the film. That
The
was
one who
Defender
died?
Strange. Yeah, the one that died. So he's not going to get his own team. They just need to stop.
Yeah.
They just need to stop. No, this is what I'm hoping. This is what I'm hoping. I know they won't, but this is what I'm hoping. Hopefully, they can look at the catastrophic bomb that this was, because this. Remember, we were on record saying this movie has to do well. Period. We all said it has to do well. It has not.
Mm-hmm.
It is not. By every measurable and conceivable metric, it is not done well. It's time for them to just pump the brakes and be like, look, they have to release Thunderbolt, trash, whatever. Stop.
They got one thing. And I remember the other show, Daredevil. They got one thing this year.
But that's not going to move the needle financially.
Yeah, that's my point.
I'm looking forward to it, but it's not going to. That's not money.
No, it's Disney Plus. It's Disney Plus. It's not making money for anybody. They're just going to put it out. There's a high probability that people are going to like it and enjoy it because they took it seriously in the end. But it doesn't change anything.
Not at all.
Because Daredevil, he's not an Avenger.
Nope.
Daredevil will get squashed by the things the Avengers have to fight.
Yes. He will. And I doubt they're going to go Shadowland Daredevil, so I don't think they're going that direction. So it's not gonna. This is. I like the MCU's been dead for many years, but now this bloated corpse is stinking.
Yeah,
it's stinking. Like it's stinking to the point that the water supply is poisoned.
Yep.
Like, get this corpse out of here.
But they can't
bury it, for God's sake. Bury it.
They can't. The Weekend at Bernie's Zombie, Weekend at Bernie's 2, the music is playing, and it's going to keep going along. And when we get to Doomsday and Secret War, that's going to be the ultimate reflection on how bad it is. When neither of those movies, when both those movies only make about $600 million each, because they'll make some money because it's an Avengers movie, and the normies will still hear Avengers and go see it, but it's not going to be the Avengers they know.
Heck,
because. Listen, Hideo Kojima came out in a tweet today or yesterday and said, I went to see Black Falcon Captain America. When did Sam Wilson get the shield? When did he become Captain America? Nobody does the homework because it's bad homework. It's crap. It rots your brain. So there is so much wrong. Like, Dre, you're right. It's so bad. It's so dead, but they got to keep going. They have no choice. They can't yeet Secret Wars and Doomsday off the list. They can yeet Blade because they never got a script done. And Mahershala Ali is now 10 years older than he was when they goddamn put that thing in freaking production. And so they can yeet that, and nobody's going to care because we all knew it was never going to happen anyway. And as much as we like Mahershala Ali as an actor, nobody wanted it. Deadpool Wolverine proved we want Wesley Snipes' Blade. Either give us that or just leave it alone. We don't need it. They've got nothing. It's only
they've got less than nothing. It's only it's embarrassing. This is embarrassing. And like I've removed myself from the MCU for years now. But I'm still on the outside looking in, and I am bleeding because the mess is hard to watch. It's like like watching somebody try to get to the top shelf in like what was something like a supermarket, and they're like 4'11", and they're just out of reach, and they keep stretching their fingers, and they keep touching the box, and every time they touch the box, it gets a little further deeper in. That is what watching the MCU is like for me. I'm just sitting there like, oh, please get it. Oh no.
And Dre, here's the thing. I've been that person who's been asked to help somebody get something off a top shelf, but we, the fans, we're not there to help.
None.
We're gone.
Not at all.
We are not there to help bring that down.
Wait, you guys are saying that Moon Knight's confirmation of returning this week is not catching the
I missed that.
Yeah, Moon Knight season 2. I think it was no, not Moon Knight season 2. They were going to use his character and other stuff. Oscar Isaacs is returning, but no Moon Knight season 2. That's not getting the box for you guys?
No.
No.
No, are we going to bring back the Egyptian superhero?
Once again, if you're going to do Moon Knight, the only good Moon Knight storyline is in connection with Daredevil during the Shadowland story. If you're not doing that, stop touching my penis. Stop doing that. I did not consent to this type of touching. Stop it. It's wrong.
What's insane is that they think that we're going to buy this anymore. That's what's insane. That we're going to show up, spend tickets, and the only people left are the stands we explored earlier in the stream. They're all that's left. And if Disney Star Wars is any example, they're not enough to make money. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.